When you look back on your ordination day, what stands out the most?
Well, the ordination day, I would say, is behind me in the picture. In that picture, you see me kneeling there with the hands of Pope Paul VI, which was very unusual, is very unusual. Some more now, but in those days, to have the Pope actually ordain you a priest was very unusual. It was the holy year of 1975, and Pope Paul VI, already 2 years ahead of time, invited those that would be ready for ordination as a deacon, who are deacons, could be ordained by him. So with my family, we said we would do that. I would be ordained by him. It was an exciting day. It was kind of an awestruck moment to be able to be kneeling in front of the Pope, and having him put his hands on me, and then give the sign of peace also was shared with him. I was just so overwhelmed by gratitude. So I think on the actual day, it was that, on that day, it was just the moment of being in front of the Pope, the head of the church, who now, of course, looking back 50 years, is now a saint. So to think that I was ordained by a saint is always I won't say a note of pride, but really a deep sense of gratitude to God for his church and for the saints of the church.
You made quite a few stops before arriving to us here in Corpus Christi. Tell us about your journey to get here to the Diocese of Corpus Christi. I guess the short version.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was something else I could say, that I've never, ever dreamt of the life I've had. I couldn't put it together myself. I've lived in Italy. I've lived in different parts of Italy. I've lived around the Diocese of Corpus Christi. I mean, I lived around the Diocese of Austin, lived in Waco, College Station, Georgetown, Austin, even in Kyle when it was a tiny, tiny little town. Now it's booming. So many in Taylor, Texas, another area that was a small town. Now it's booming with Samsung and other businesses coming in. I've been across the world in travels, mainly for business. I always don't like to say that I don't do a lot of tourism, but I've just been so blessed, and not only that, but meeting people and knowing people. So all of that, and then working in the seminary, working in a high school, working in a parish, and even administering the Diocese of Austin for 6 months before I came to Corpus Christi. So I could say the culmination was being here for 15 years in Corpus Christi. After all that, God has blessed me beyond my imagination.
All right. What does this Jubilee year mean to you personally and spiritually?
Well, there's many chances for all of us to lose hope. We look around with the wars that are going on, with the dissension among so many groups of people, the disparity among people, and the lack of harmony among peoples, even in our own families. And there's many reasons to lose hope, but I think this year has really given me a sense of hope, and I say that sincerely, that if we only look at what is, what we can see, and not see what is beyond, which is the call of God to remedy all that, to bring us to hope, to bring us to love one another. That's the real remedy. That gives me hope. And to see also young people really responding to a call with the hard work of people in parishes and other churches, in our own staff here, really working with young people to develop them. That gives me a lot of hope. Spiritually, personally, I know from my own life at this point, at 75 years old, there's a deep sense of hope that my life is still in God's hands and it will end there, and that is my great hope.
All right. As a couple more questions, as we look ahead to the future of the Diocese of Corpus Christi, what gives you the most hope?
I really believe that the hope lies in how we exist together as church. A clerical church, which means everyone looks to those who are ordained as the sole benefactors of everything in the church, that's wrong. The church is a body of people. And I would say for myself, what would give me the greatest joy and the most hope is that lay people, together with religious, together with consecrated men and women, the priest, bishop, we could all work together as brothers and sisters. Tear down the walls that divide us, the feelings that may be negative, whatever it is, but always to see that the Lord calls us to be brothers and sisters, to love one another, and to do our respective jobs. I can't do what lay people do. They can't do what I do. I don't want to be a lay person anymore. I've been called to be a bishop, and I'm happy there. If we're all happy in our own calling and fulfill it with our own talents, but also talents that come together and contribute to the building up of the church, building up of humanity, building up of people, then that would be the greatest joy and gift we could give to the society here, but also that reaches around the world.
Now, personally, what would you like your legacy to be, not just as a bishop, but as a servant of God?
I would say communion. If I've done any ministry that has the note of bringing people together, promoting communion among the priests, first of all, that's my first responsibility, among the deacons, the parishes, that we can share life together. That would be hopefully my legacy, that the word communion, I hate to say it so boldly, but a man of communion. I know I've made many mistakes. I know I could have done better in that, but overall, I would hope that I could be seen as a man of communion that has brought people together.
All right, and this is Leslie's last question. If you could offer one message to the faithful here in South Texas as you mark the 50th year milestone, what would it be?
Be faithful to Jesus Christ. And be faithful to Him, especially on the cross. I truly believe that crosses are put in our way, as I've experienced this week several times, to make us grow, not only humanly, to learn how to face difficulties, but also spiritually. Because in my life, offering the Mass, which is the memorial of the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross, that is so central to who I am, to who we are as Christians, as Catholic Christians, but not to undervalue the beauty of suffering, of the cross. Jesus is present in those sufferings. He's there because He took it on Himself first. So be close to Jesus Christ always, in the joys and the sorrows and the beautiful moments of life, but especially in those personal crosses that He allows us to have in our life, because there we grow closer and closer and closer to Him, and that's my testimony.
All right. Is there anything that I failed to ask you that you would like to mention?
I'm glad I was chosen to be the Bishop of Corpus Christi. It was a little different for me coming from another cultural setting of Austin. Everybody says that's the liberal island of Texas, but I wasn't. So coming to Corpus Christi was a change, but I am very grateful to God for having been chosen at this final leg of my ministry as a priest and a bishop to be in Corpus Christi. So I want to say God bless all of you. You're in my prayers, and I say that sincerely, especially as I celebrate 50 years of being a priest.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Or you want to put it up higher?
I think we're doing okay. I'll just get one tight shot here.
You want the microphone back on, Preston?
Yes, please.
Okay. We de-mic'd too early.
Oh. Okay.
And you can put this in your pocket.
1 second. Tight shot. And one last shot, and I'll be done.
Okay. So I guess the one that we have is still that one, but it's
It's just
tighter.
black and white.
And it's black and white.
Alrighty, you.
No, I mean, I don't.
Okay.
But I just wanted to show you that these people right here in the blue, pink, kind of rose, and another pink, these are my parents and my sister and cousins, or sorry, my aunt. And they're in every picture. There were 350 priests ordained that day. But these people stood out in every picture. I don't know why it is, but it's just this little group here. Of course, they're taking pictures of me at that moment. But it's kind of amazing. I go in, because there were like, of the Americans, of my friends, there were like 20 of us. And if I look at their pictures, my parents are right there. So it's kind of an interest, I guess, because everybody else was wearing proper black and my parents were wearing blue and green. But anyway, just thought that's a little interesting side
Make sure I
note.
get a tight shot of that. It kind of.
So this is St. Peter's Square outside of the Basilica, and this was an outdoor mass. And this stands where all the families of the ones being ordained, like myself. This is me here. But in every picture of the 350 young men that were ordained, my family sticks out, with my dad in blue here, and my uncle, my sister, and two aunts, my mother's sister and their aunt. And it's just all these, and there were others, but these show up. And those are all my family members. And it's just, so they're right there. It's just amazing for me because they're right there with me at the moment that I was ordained. So, yeah.